Alright, so today I made a poll talking about which video I should make in replacement to the Battlegrounds one. I really want to make a video on Battlegrounds, but unfortunately I could not because Battlegrounds is a bit of a mess right now. But hopefully it gets fixed soon so I can make a video on it, but for now I'll just save that for a different time. And Omega Sentinel won the poll. And I will gladly make a video on why I'm excited for this character because I think she is going to be one of the most impactful characters in the entire game. I think she's gonna have such a massive impact on the game, and it's for a couple of reasons. And I also want to talk about a couple of reasons on why I think that she is already hyped up. And one of the big reasons is just because of the character in general. This is Omega Sentinel we're talking about. If you played MCOC for over a year, you would know why she is like really hyped up, and it's because of the Hercules versus Omega Sentinel period of MCOC. In my opinion, that was my favorite period. It was a really fun time. Like, you have people on two different sides, just like you have this really underrated character that came from nothing, which is Omega Sentinel, and then you have like this big Giga Chad Hercules that like people obviously want in the game as well. And it's just crazy how Mega Sentinel was like a literal nobody that very few people knew. And at the end of the poll, she was like, she almost won the whole thing. But she lost to Hercules. I don't think anyone is mad that she lost to Hercules at this point because he is like the second best character in the game. But people have been waiting for her. And she's finally here. And I think Kabam has delivered on her exceptionally. So why am I excited for this character like 2 weeks before she's coming out? Well, first, I just want to say, for some players in the community, she is already a must-have. And it's because of that number right there. That prestige is the third best in the entire game. It's better than Hercules, and it's only falls short to Dr. Doom and Silver Surfer. That's crazy. And that already makes her a must-have character for a pretty sizable portion of the community. For me personally, it is a great motivation to try and get her. But even if she had like bad prestige, I would want her anyway because I'll get into that in just a little bit. And also, fun fact, she has the highest attack rating in the game now. It used to be Dr. Doom, but she came in and just absolutely swooped that. 4,500 on a 6-star rank 4 is insane. Like, that is crazy numbers. But back to the abilities page. You can just see from like the abilities, like from the abilities page that she has a lot. She has a ton. So I just want to do a quick overview. If I were to give her a summary, like a 1-sentence summary, it would be like a mutant slayer that extends to other classes. And what I mean by that is she has ways to counter meta mutants like Toad and Kitty Pryde with like the cowardice and the heal block, but she also extends out to like different classes. Like her tracking debuff is like universal basically. Like there's a lot of characters in different classes that need miss or like that have miss that needs to be countered, and she does that pretty easily. And like another thing that she has that's just like not for just mutants, it's just like in general, is the fact that she is going to be one of the most tanky characters in the whole entire game. Her armor ups are massive. It's like it's almost 1,000 per armor up, and you stack 10 of them. So you're going to have almost 10k armor rating. Like, you will not be taking damage. And paired with the Sig, which, by the way, if you somehow awaken a 6-star Omega Sentinel, I could not stress enough how much you should Sig 200 her. Like, her Sig looks pretty dang solid, but just for the prestige alone, it's worth it. So her Sig ability, at max armor ups, you'll have 9k armor rating and 8,000 energy resistance. That is as much as Guardian. Like, that is crazy levels of good. And see, this is why, like, I love her so much already. Like, this is why I'm so excited for her, like, so early on. Because the current meta mutant slayers, like Nimrod, and I guess OG Sentinel as well, outside of mutant matchups, this might be a hot take, but I don't think they're, like, anything crazy good. I would just say they're good outside of non-mutant matchups. Of course, they're, like, beyond busted in mutant matchups, but I think this character's just, she's gonna be great in every matchup, like, no matter the class. And that's what I really like about her, because I can use her, like, versus anyone that I want. And another thing that she has that I really like is she's going to be recoil masteries friendly, because she takes no damage from bleed and poison effects, and she doesn't get reduced, like, her regen from the poison effect, so that's really good. And every time you would trigger bleed or poison, you get a self-repair buff. And this can be kind of nuts. Like, if you go in the fight with at, like, 1% health, you'll, like, regen up to 40%. That's so crazy. And she's just going to pair very, very solid with the recoil masteries, especially because she has the highest attack in the game. So, like, by default, she has, like, the biggest benefit from them because she has the highest attack rating. So, yeah, that's really awesome. And another reason why she benefits is because she doesn't have any ways to increase her attack rating. So any attack rating will be massive for her incinerates, which, by the way, she is like an incinerate DPS, an incinerate or a plasma versus a mutant, which is a great thing because no mutants are immune to plasma. But speaking of the DPS, if I were to be worried about one thing with this character, it would be the DPS. Because, like, I watched the deep dives, I, like, kind of did some calculations, and without the recoil masteries, I will definitely be like, looking into her damage output when she gets released, because I think with the recoil masteries that she will have great DPS, but outside of that, it's gonna be something that I really have to, like, look into, because from the deep dive, I was so, like, I fell in love with all of her things in the deep dive except the damage output. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it's going to be something really solid with the recoil masteries, and we'll just have to wait and see there. But damage is a thing that you cannot judge early, you know? Because you can judge a person's utility because, like, it's a set ability, but it's not really a set damage number, like, on the deep dives, because, like, Apocalypse, they did him dirty in the deep dives damage-wise. And I feel like that's a case that could happen again. Like, it did happen with Null. Null had pretty terrible damage in the deep dive, but he's one of the strongest damage dealers in the game. So you really never know. And that's why I am, like, awaiting her full release to talk about the damage output. But last thing I want to cover is her synergies, man. If I were to, like, describe her synergies in one sentence, it would be, was this necessary? Because was this necessary? She has so much more utility from the synergies as well. This one with Sentinel is just, it's kind of broken, in my opinion. It's pretty broken. Incinerate and Plasma debuffs inflicted by a medium combo ender instantly power drain the opponent for 5% of the max power. So you know how Iron Man Infinity War has pretty nuts power control? He does that because he can power drain on the medium attacks and light attacks, and they just never get an SP3 unless they have some sort of power gain. That's the same thing with Omega Sentinel. So basically what that means is that she will have super solid power control, and they will not get an SP3 unless they have some big power gain, which is only common in, like, Cosmic Champs, which she has a disadvantage to, so it makes sense, you know? And then she has this one, which is, like, plus 35% potency on the self-repair buffs. This can be really good if you're, like, at low health with the recoil masteries, So you'll get like a 50 to 60% heal instead of like the 40%. Well, maybe it'll be like a 55% heal. That's super solid, and it's with two pretty broken characters. And that one it's like her worst synergy. It's like not that good in my opinion. This one though, this one I wanted to do like some theory crafting, but I decided not to make the video. But I'll just cover it here. So Nimrod has a synergy where for each shock on the opponent, you get plus 5% combat power rate, and this applies to all robots. And this right here, whenever a hit from the opponent's special attack does not make contact with Omega Sentinel, she inflicts him with a shock passive, dealing 15% energy damage over 6 seconds. So this lets you get pretty nice combat power rate increase. And it's just, I love how they did that with like Nimrod is like the synergy for this. He's the character for this synergy, and he also has a synergy that lets her benefit more from this synergy. That's super awesome. And this one is also pretty neat as well. It's like more utility on her, which is unnecessary, but you know, not going to complain. For each armor consumed during a special attack, inflict an armor break debuff, reducing armor rating by 10% for the duration of that special attack. So it's a pretty nice DPS increase too, I would imagine, but it's just some really awesome utility as well. Like this can counter Killmonger, can counter just any armor break champ, so that's really awesome. So that's about like the end of our journey here, or that's about the end of our video here. I don't know why I call it a journey, but will I be going for this character? Absolutely. I will be spending quite a bit of money to try to get her, and if I miss her there, I will be grinding out 6-star shards so I can go for a feature in 4 months. And yeah, I'm excited for this character. My expectations have never been higher for a character, to be honest. I think she's going to break records in Arena and in Profit because she is super high prestige and she is Omega Sentinel. So, yeah, I cannot wait, and that's about it from me.